did, yes.
You are right, Pat.
We will open this meeting of April 24th, 2014. Let the record show that all selectmen are present. We will start with the minutes from last week.
I'll make a motion, we bring the minutes of April 10th to the floor for discussion.
That's not last week. Second.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
On page 4, the last sentence, that it's just a misspelled word, call, roll call. Forgot to shut it off.
What do you do? What did I just send you?
That's what I got.
You can't accept it if you can.
Just change it to
So they're saying in at least one pay week.
On page 8, Police Department Health Officer's job description. It begins, the abbreviation of selectmen's, and then it says said. Is there supposed to be a name in between that and said?
What paragraph, Catherine?
I'm on page 8.
Oh, help.
Should probably be Selectman Dawson said she has made some changes to.
That's you, Catherine, yes.
Right, so
I didn't know if it
insert
was
Dawson.
selectmen in total, or just me in particular.
Just you, I'll put your name in.
Well, selectman said she, so it can't be the selectmen in total. I'm just saying.
Any other corrections or additions, concerns?
Page 9. First paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4 sentence down, the trustees will.
Oh. See it, Catherine? The trustees will get,
Oh, okay. Trustees.
And the period in 4,200 should probably be a comma.
Oh,
I don't think it's
see that.
$4.
4,200.
Tactical.
Otherwise, we don't contribute much.
That'd be a great thing.
Okay.
Motion, we accept the minutes as corrected.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion, bring the minutes of April 17th, 2014 to the floor for discussion.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Wait a minute, I'm looking for mine. Hold on. All those in favor? Everyone said aye. I don't think I have April 17th.
Do you need a set, Pat? I haven't. Maybe that's why I have an extra one.
Okay, yeah, I don't have one.
Sorry.
Thanks.
Page 2, second paragraph, can change tat to that. Just a spelling. Down near the bottom of the paragraph.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So,
Got it?
Gotta love spell check. Drives me nuts.
the problem with spell check is if you spell it wrong and have another word, it doesn't.
Well, I'll type out a letter, I'll be in a hurry, and I was like, oh, everything looks good, and I'll send it, and then I'm reading it, I'm like,
Did we get the new water cooler?
yes.
Yep, we did.
Nice?
It's very nice. The water is ice cold.
Really?
It is cold. There is a
The other one
big
up
We get
difference.
the other one upstairs?
At a cost.
I believe
At a
Dennis
cost.
is
Moving it tomorrow.
At a cost.
He should take the equipment
much?
$5 a month?
away that
Oh,
we're
yeah,
getting rid
yeah,
of
yeah.
up here while they're here, so they don't make a second trip.
We voted on
What
it last week.
equipment?
Right now? I would have
You
been
can
negative.
talk to Tim, but I know that big copier is one of them, or it's not a copier, it's a scanner.
For
That,
$5 a month, if it breaks, they
pre-colored one on
fix
the-
it. The parts, they fix it.
Selectmen's desk?
The one we've got.
The one with that red and white
we got a
sticker on
piece
it?
of junk.
Yep,
5 years.
and those two on the floor?
$5.
Yes, I
Yeah,
believe.
the one with the red and white sticker on it is the one that Franklin Savings Bank donated to
Yeah.
the chat. It doesn't,
$200. I don't know.
Unless they're gonna come a separate time to take all the stuff out of the basement and everything, then it can wait, but
I'm gonna have to wait till October.
less true, yeah, I know, huh?
Does, Dennis.
We've had them for years.
all right.
Yeah, nice. Who put it up? Really? Isn't that nice? It works.
Yes, it was great last week because the sun was
Very nice. These files.
Page 4, Public Works Director Dennis Allen. Where is it here? Last week's Selectmen's meeting, we're short an E in meeting.
Last week's meeting, the word meeting.
It needs another E in there.
I see that.
On page 5, I don't think Dennis said he put signs up. Oh, I know what he's talking about. Okay, I'd back up. I thought he was talking about the signs that are missing, he's replacing. He's put a sign up
sign, okay.
on that area. Okay, it threw me off because it was plural, signs is plural.
A, okay.
He just put a sign up at that pier. Of the far pier, the western pier. Yeah, that's a problem. Hey, you know what? I have 2 copies. Stapled together. That's where it is. I'm like, wow,
That came out of the machine.
another
like
set of
that.
minutes. The machine messed up.
You know what? They're all this 2 minutes. Yeah,
we all have 2
it's double.
copies.
So you're reading it twice, Joe.
I just got up to that point. Okay, well, that said, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of April 17th as corrected.
Second?
All those, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hey, moving right along, reports from selectmen. John, do you have anything for us?
Yes, the Conservation Commission met Monday night and went over some ideas and plans to finalize what's going to be done with the Salmon Run end of the park, and worked on the routing of the path through there. And let's see. They're going to be needing some help to get some rocks down there. And I think Chuck will probably be getting in touch with Dennis or any volunteers to
Where are
start
the
putting them out. Up at Catherine's,
Catherine's?
your Catherine. I
Up at
mean,
your house, Catherine?
no, not at
I
Catherine's.
was gonna say, wow,
No,
I just got
somebody-
two
no,
really
no,
big
No,
rocks,
I'm
but they're
sorry, at your
wicked
daughter-
flat.
At your daughter, so.
At Helen's?
At Helen's, yes. And she's got some, and I guess there are a couple other various places.
Is there still a pile of rocks in the property that Jerry Shaley has next to me?
I don't know.
Oh,
There are a pile of rocks
I
there,
don't know
you
if I
are a
moved.
pilot, no, there is,
across from the
Yeah,
golf
Jerry's.
course.
I haven't walked over to see how big they are. I mean, I can, I
They're
have my
pretty
tractor
big
bucket.
rocks, some of them, I think, but I
Yep.
I can put,
don't know if they're big
if you
enough.
let me know, I can move some down.
Because it would be nice to
You're big enough
start
you wouldn't
blocking
wanna
that
hit
off
'em.
so the grass can start growing in there anyway. Because people are already using it. I think they had a fire department training on there. And we also discussed putting some stakes and
how did they
ribbon
have a
up
fire department training on there?
at some
Just like
point
water
in
out
the
of the
river.
river and play with the hoses. And learn to use the
Rest-
hoses properly.
Maybe water rescue.
But who
I'm not
gave them
sure.
permission to do that?
It's town property,
They can do what they want to do? Okay.
So, it-
Usually, they're very nice about asking.
yeah. So it'd be nice to block that part off so the grass can start growing before.
Are you scheduling a specific date to do this,
No, that's in the works.
or just see rock bring it down?
My reason for saying that is I'm hoping once it's a park that it won't be done as readily, bringing trucks in there to do that training.
They'll have to be told not to. We'll have to tell them not to.
Yeah, and that's the idea, to get the rocks up there right away, and maybe some flags and stakes, and ribbon to get people used to it. The state right-of-way was, I believe, 8.5 feet from the edge of the road back, so we talked about having it like 9 or 10 feet back,
The rock?
the rocks from the road.
State usually doesn't mind if you put something temporary in the right of way.
And see, that's the next issue, is if you put them that far back, then people are going to start parking along the road, which,
Right.
and that's around
I'd
the
put them
corner.
closer,
Yeah.
Like,
because you can make a barrier as long as it's temporary
and not,
and you can remove it if there's an issue.
Yeah, as long as you understand you're in the right of way, and if they come along and need to be in it.
That's what was explained to us up at the Grange when we were going through that process.
and that will also help to keep people from parking right there, which will be, when they
Right.
come around that corner, it's going to be a little difficult.
Right.
The other thing that was talked about was where they're going to have the trail cut across the street, and so that it's in a good line of sight. DOT didn't want to make it an official road crossing there, but they're working on planning that out to make sure that people don't walk across the street too close to that curve down by the river, or,
Yeah, I'm concerned because it sounds like the Trail Association wants to have, besides the parking lot, where it is, oh, that's downstairs, across from the PD, which is kind of a natural crossing, there'll be a second crossing down further. I'm concerned of it being like Riverfront Park. When we have an event there, people cross in like 5 or 6 different places. It's just what a vehicle operator's nightmare.
Yep.
I don't want to duplicate the same situation down there.
so it might have to be worked out for a good, see if
Will
we
the
put
state
it-
let us put in a crosswalk at either of
They
those
said
locations?
no.
They hate crosswalks.
I know they do.
Especially on that road.
Okay.
Even so,
And-
if they don't put one in, people are gonna cross anyway.
Budget Committee, let's see, there was an ad that was put out. We haven't met since, but just the emails. There was an ad that was put out, was in today's Laconia Sun, and there is somebody who showed an interest and is going to meet with the Budget Committee in June, that meeting.
Nice.
And that's where we're at.
All right. Catherine?
I have some stuff that, one thing that's in correlation with why Jane is here The other is the landscapers in Riverfront Park. And it's all spruced up and looks great. He even thatched the lawn, which had never been done before. And I think things are working out really well. Went through all the beds, and just the one day he was in there, it looked marvelous. That's it, the rest of it, until Jane comes up.
All right. We have, do you remember back a month or so ago, and we asked Ralph Littlefield for a time to meet, to discuss the homeless advocate? And then there was a death in the family, and then Heather was sick. So we have new dates, May 1st, 2nd, 6th, and 7th. Is any one of those dates okay with anybody, or?
I think I'm out of town for all those days.
May 1st is a Thursday, right?
Yep.
Thursday, Friday. What you said?
Thursday, Friday, or Tuesday, Wednesday?
What time?
What time do you want to meet?
Probably what will happen is I'll send back and say, we can meet like, in the afternoon at some point. I don't mind Thursday or Friday, the 1st or 2nd.
Thursday would be...
Thursday would be better, right?
Yeah.
In the afternoon sometime?
Yeah.
Joe, you're not going to be here?
I'm leaving on the Saturday before to go down to Georgia with my brother to pick up his motorcycle, so I'll be gone for about a week.
Okay.
Did you say the 4th?
First.
Oh, the
yeah.
1st.
The 1st, 2nd, or 6th and 7th?
Out of the 6, you get the training at 4:45,
What training?
harassment, May 6th.
Oh, the 6th, yeah, that's right. Town Hall is 4:45, right?
When is the training at the town garage?
3:30, 4:30.
3:30. Same day?
Same day, the 6th. So let's say the 6th is out. So we want to try for the 1st or the 7th?
Do it the 1st.
Yeah, we'll go 1st as our first choice, and then the what time, in the afternoon?
Yeah.
We'll fill you in, John? The 1st?
Well, I'd only be around after 4:30.
Okay. I think this is going to be an afternoon one, because this is going to be with the Selectmen in Samberton and Welfare Director in Samberton.
Wouldn't 4:30 be kind of at the end of the business day? Do you think they could do 4:30?
I'll try for that. I'll try as close to 4:30 as I can get
Well,
it.
the first 4:30 is the selectmen meeting, too.
That's good, we can still go it in non-public,
Okay.
and we'll plan on that, that's all.
Okay.
I'll try for it, and if nobody can make it during that time, we'll
right.
bump it up.
I don't have to mark it down, I'm here anyway.
All right. All right. The Tilton School Seniors Helping Seniors Week is May 3rd, between 9 and noon. I gave them a list of seniors. They'll be out raking their lawns and trimming and helping out. So if you happen to be around in the village, which is primarily where they do, around in the village, and you see groups of students, feel free to stop and thank them. I have a couple of things that I wanted to bring up on the timesheets. You want to, it's just technicalities and timesheets, that's all, and I think I'll do that in non-public when we talk about the other part of the timesheets. So the homeless advocate, Tilton School, that's it. Right? You got anything?
I'm good this week.
Good. Joe?
Just that I went to the co-op meeting last week, and everybody moved forward with the separation of the Phase 1 and Phase 2 communities. All the votes were taken accordingly and passed. The contentious insurance, all those passed unanimously, but the contentious insurance one, although it passed in favor, there was a split in the vote. That's on my whole. Oh, and over on not Church Street, River Road, I went by a number of black bags of garbage. Now, I don't know if they're like collected from the trestle. I didn't stop because I was on my way somewhere and then got diverted and didn't go back by there, but I'm going to go tomorrow and check out. There was 4 or 5 bags and a blue container, and I don't know what was in the container. And,
Where are they?
right near the trestle on River Road. They're not on the River Road, they're not on the riverside, they're right across from that, where that little pull-off place is. You can't miss it. If you go by my house and then hang a left onto River Road, it's just past the first
I know
house,
what you're
yeah.
talking about, because the trestle is on,
Yeah, it's over where that TV was, kind of, but on the other side of the road.
that corridor is owned by the state of New Hampshire.
Yeah, this one, that particular location, I think, is owned by Mr. Sandburn. I don't know if it has anything to do with Mr. Sandburn, certainly, but, because it looks like somebody picked up a whole bunch of garbage and, like, just put it there. And I'm not sure, Catherine, I can't tell you right offhand, but I'm going to check and I'll give you a call.
I've gotten several calls, several meaning 4 or 5, this week from residents that say the quality of the bags that we're selling this lot seems very different. The strings are breaking very quickly, and the thickness of the bag itself seems to rip.
I haven't seen that, and that's the first I've heard about it, but I will, I'm in touch with the Sarah Bernier woman, because I have questions about it. They said there would be a 3-day turnaround. You place an order Monday, and it would be in Wednesday, or, that kind of thing. They're delivering once a week, and it seems to be on Thursday as of late, and she was going to track down the reasons why, but I haven't heard anything from her. And I'm thinking that at such time as, because we've had just too many problems with this, I would suggest that when it comes due again, we put it out for a rebid. And I'm going to suggest to Ms. Bernier that we'll be looking for bag services elsewhere, because it's disappointing that they can't take care of these simple problems, what I consider to be a simple problem. I could drive down there in an afternoon and pick up the bags, but they can't manage to get them up here but once a week. I don't get it.
The universal comment is the trash bags are trash.
Yeah.
I hear that. The trash bags are trash.
Well, I just bought a new sleeves of bags, and I'll check it out. I haven't, and I put a lot of weight in the bag.
I do.
I put a liner in my bag. I'm actually still buying bags to put in my trash bag.
Oh, well, no, I always do it that way, Catherine.
Breaking.
In my kitchen, I put my garbage in a bag, and I can put a couple of those bags at least in a purple bag. So
I put this in the purple bag.
She puts a
before
liner in first.
Yeah,
Well, I put a garbage bag in the purple bag, and I'll put a couple of garbage bags in the purple bag.
Oh, no, I put the purple bag in,
Yeah,
and then
I
I
can-
put a
that depends
garbage
on-
bag in, and then I fill it. That way,
I think it's
it doesn't puncture through the garbage bag. or through the-
Well, I've never had a puncture myself, just me, but in any case, I'm going to inquire to Tim when the contract is up, and
I've had one string break on me, but Now, this, apparently, the people are saying they've never had it happen except
Then all of a
new
sudden?
sleeves.
Yeah?
They've just recently got them within the last couple of weeks, new sleeves at Town Hall.
Or maybe it's those people at Town Hall. Oh, no, wait a minute, that's us, isn't it? No, it's not that.
All right, so I just want to bring that
Okay.
to your attention.
All right, I'll bring that to their attention.
Okay,
I'll blame the people of the town hall, that's real nice. Real
Hey, that's
nice.
us.
we have public input, and Jane has asked to come before us as chairman of the planning board to speak with us, and so I so graciously stuck her in public input, so come on up, Jane. Well, I like a chocolate.
99-cent candy at Market Basket, Easter candy on sale, too much fun like this. Thank you, Chairman Constantine, for allowing me to be here today. I said it on this meeting, I'd say a couple of months ago, when my ears perked up when there was an intent to cut on School Street, but that was it, you know, and I know it was signed, and I never thought that that would become my word for the week. And I think there are many of us in this room who are tired of hearing intent to cut and form signed. To make a long story short, we did have a request for an intent to cut on School Street.
And we signed for
It was
it.
signed off on, and I drove up School Street not long ago, and I saw a cute little toy-type bulldozer from Taylor Rental or whatever sitting on the side of the road. And I guess that was the beginning of everything, because since then, we've had several people on School Street come into Town Hall questioning why timber was being cut and why big pieces of equipment were moving in on this particular land on School Street. And last Tuesday, the planning board met, and at that time, a lot of things were brought to our attention, and we had to take some action, which I will explain later. But as a result of the action we had to take, it became obvious that there was a loophole somewhere in the process. And when an intent to cut comes in, it comes into Catherine in her office, and she has traditionally, I guess, given it to Joyce and then presented to the selectmen for signature, and it's signed off on. However, in our zoning laws, and I have a copy here if anyone cares to take a look, it's under conditional use permits, and the fact that the planning board is to administer anything involving wetlands, a conditional use permit has to be secured by the contractor to cut any timber, do any logging within a wetland. And we had no way to catch that. And so consequently, we discussed it in detail, and Dari has put together, through input with me, with Catherine, the planning board in general, a process that we would like to initiate to prevent this kind of problem from happening in the future. Basically, what has happened is a contractor who has not worked the entire winter suddenly thought he had a job that he could start right away, and that has been delayed because of paperwork necessary. And it's not the intention of the planning board in any way whatsoever to prevent a contractor from making his living. That's not our intent at all. However, it is our responsibility to enforce the zoning ordinances within the town, and as such, we had to take some action. But I'm going to give everybody a copy of this because I think a lot of you have names.
I think we have a copy of it.
have,
Do you have a
yeah.
copy of it?
Yes.
Is it?
Okay, yes, I have had an opportunity to look over it. Do you have any comments? Should I read it aloud for the camera? All right, and this is to the Tilton Select Board, and it's draft procedures for processing a notice of intent to cut. The following procedure is proposed for the convenience of a landowner or timber harvester filing a notice of intent to cut. It represents a service above and beyond any legal requirements bestowed upon the town, and has been proposed to assist the landowner contractor in maintaining compliance with the laws and regulations with which he or she must follow. When a notice of intent to cut notice is submitted to the town office, copies of the notice will be distributed through email or other means to the town administrator, the code enforcement officer, the land use coordinator, the Conservation Commission chairman, the Conservation Commission secretary, and the planning board chairman. On receipt of the notice, the land use coordinator and code enforcement officer will conduct research as necessary through site visits, correspondence with other departments and/or agencies, or other means. Said research will be for the purpose of identifying and communicating all town requirements associated with the project. Finding of said research will be submitted to the assistant to the select board, the town administrator, and if relevant, to the planning board chairman and conservation commission. Because the select board has a time limit of 30 days to sign and number a notice, the assistant to the select board will coordinate the process of compiling the findings of the code enforcement officer and/or land use coordinator. In cases where no comments have been submitted prior to the last meeting at which the select board must sign the intent to cut, the assistant to the select board will notify the submitter of the notice that the town's sign-off shall not serve as an acknowledgement that all town regulations have been met. In particular, the applicant should be advised that the requirements of town zoning, Article 14, must be met, and that it may be necessary to obtain a conditional use permit from the planning board. To put that in shorter terms, it sounds like a lot of work and a lot of words for a lot of people. When Catherine receives the intent to cut, it needs to go to various people who will research to see if there are wetlands involved. Because what this particular zoning ordinance involves is logging within a wetland buffer area. And there are two types of wetlands. We don't want to delay the contractor, but we want the contractor to know that he may have to initiate a conditional use permit. He may have to fill that out. And we will only know that after this research is done. And it could delay him in some cases. So he needs to be made aware of that. What happened in this case is no one knew that. He was not notified. He thought he had done all of his filings, and in fact, he had not. Because of that, and that's why it's become an issue.
Did the contractor cut in the wetland? Is that what the problem is?
Not yet. He's going to be crossing, to our knowledge right now, he will be crossing wetlands. There are two brooks in this particular location. And he will be crossing those wetlands, and therefore, he will have to submit a conditional use permit. And that's covered in our zoning.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I don't recall that being stated in the intent to cut permit that we signed.
That's the problem.
That's why we're having this now.
Well, the guy has
why
got to
Jay would like
understand
to
that
have
crossing the
this.
brook with heavy equipment needs other permits. I mean, did he just get his license, or?
What does it
No,
say?
no, the intent to cut is clear that he has to, and references various state documents. So typically a logger, the application that they have to file is a forestry notification form. And on that, it talks about brook crossings, what they need to do. There's a lot of things they have to do, but it's all state level. This form is not our form. The intent to cut comes from DRA, doesn't it, Joyce? And so there's nothing on it that says, oh, by the way, the town of Tilton happens to have their own wetland ordinance. So we were looking for a document such as this that could be attached.
Makes
to
perfectly
it.
good sense.
We hand out that intent to cut. This notifies them that even though you have done all you need to do to suffice the state agencies, you still have to do something for the town of Tilton.
I'm stunned that that's never been come up before.
Well, Al and I walked the site, and I didn't realize it till I was standing there looking at the brook, going, oh, by the way. But when I signed the intent to cut, it never occurred to me. It didn't occur to me until I was out in the field.
As I said, when I said 2 months ago or whatever, when this was signed, didn't know it was gonna cause this. However, it has come up, we don't want it to come up in the future. I think that all of us have learned quite a bit from this, and it's going to involve us tweaking some of the zoning ordinances, I think, for town meeting next March, because there's some things that are left out that maybe need to be included.
I would like
We
to,
don't want to let anybody get caught in this situation again.
Yeah, conceivably could have cost this fellow up to 6 weeks because the Conservation Commission has to consult with the planning board, and they only meet once a month, and they just met Monday,
I would like,
Conservation Commission.
this is very good. It's excellent, but I would really like to be, instead of select board, Board of Selectmen,
Oh, thank you, I made the correction all over it.
because that's what we are, and we're not a, we can just ask Derry to change that.
It also should say down in the last paragraph where it says, "Will notify the submitter of notice that the town sign off." Well, we don't want to say the town sign off because that's all inclusive. We want to say the Board of Selectmen.
Board of Selectmen sign off, right,
Shall not.
right.
And then at the top, I'd like it to say upon the town of Tilton. Represents a service above and beyond lucrative bestowed upon the town of
All
Tilton.
right, wait a minute. What paragraph?
The top
first is
paragraph.
The top
The
paragraph.
bottom,
Oh, no, bestowed upon the town of Tilton.
yeah.
That's your first. Okay, and select board, and a selectman instead of select board.
Board of Selectmen, yeah.
Yeah, okay, and was there any other?
Yeah, note the fourth line up from the bottom, board will notify the submitter of the notice that the Board of Selectmen sign off shall not serve, right?
Why wouldn't it? Why would we sign it if all the regulations haven't been met?
Because the Department of Revenue Administration, whose form it is, requires us to return that to them within 30 days.
If they haven't met the requirements of the town's regulations,
Just
why
30
would we
days.
sign it?
Joyce?
There's nothing to prevent, this is a state law, and there's nothing to prevent them from cutting timber. It's just that it's our regulation and it's DES's wetlands regulation that says they can't haul the logs and their equipment through wetlands.
Absolutely.
The
The
cow-
intent
Does not prevent them from cutting lumber, from cutting timber.
Yes, it does.
No, they
cannot
can
go-
cut it, they just can't take it out.
The intent,
You can't take it out.
well, they can't.
They can't cut it in a wetland.
They can cut the trees down, but no logger is going to go into a forest and cut a whole bunch of trees down without taking out.
You wouldn't think so, would
We
you?
still have to, we
You'd
have
have a
30
cluster.
days, we have to return that to DRA. We can't
That's right.
prevent them from cutting.
The
just
Department of
can't remove
Revenue,
it.
the intent to cut form is a tax form, really.
Correct.
Its intent is to gather information
Right.
for taxing purposes.
Because it
It's
shows
not
how many
intended
logs,
as
what
a,
kind they're cutting.
Yeah,
it's
there's a
not a
timber
wetlands
tax.
form.
We're familiar with the intent to cut.
That's why it doesn't say
Okay.
anything on it about,
So what does that do to the School Street dogs?
It's
gonna slow 'em down.
Now, we caught it before that took place. We're trying to get all of the permits in place prior to him cutting,
Okay.
okay?
Jane is doing all she can to expedite it so that he's not caught up in our mistake.
Why is it our mistake?
Because we neglected to inform him that this permit was required
Yeah.
back on, was it the 18th? No, it was the 8th.
That's why this is in
The 8th.
place. Now, when Catherine gets an intent to cut, that will be a flag.
When the Selectman's office gets an intent to cut. No.
All right.
Catherine happens to open it, it's not
Well,
Catherine's
that's just like when,
fault.
that's just like when Dari or
Right.
Al get it. Whoever sits in those seats is the intention, and that's what this form says.
Right.
So pardon my French, Madam Chairperson.
Who said that, the
He
second?
did a really nice job writing that out.
So,
Which brings me...
Who's ever sitting in my seat?
what do we need to do to make this happen?
I just need your
Approve the form.
approval.
I got one question.
Motion.
I'm not making a motion.
Well, he's asking a question.
Wetland scientist, who is it? Who's gonna determine if that's a wetland? And what kind of wetland is it, and what are we crossing?
You and I informally talked about that today. If a brook is running through, you do know that it's a wetland.
Yeah?
We do have maps that show that it's a wetland. We have tax cards that show that where the wetlands are.
That doesn't determine where the wetland is, or what kind of wetland.
We had a similar circumstances not
Running
too
water
long
is not
ago,
indicative necessarily
where we had to have
of a
a wetland
wetland.
scientist come in because it was very iffy to what, if it was wetlands, if it was not wetlands, and it was,
Well, that's spelled out again in
In the
our
ordinance,
Yeah.
it's covered.
All right? It's covered in the ordinance. And if there's any doubt in your mind, then you can go to the contractor, because he's the one who's going to have to foot the bill, and you can require that contractor,
The planning board
the
can.
planning board can require that contractor
And that should be in
to
this,
do that.
because when you hand this to them, it should say that. There should be nothing-
It shouldn't be a surprise later on, oh, by the by, I
Well,
would
the
think.
ordinance isn't even in this, but it tells them there is an ordinance. It's right on the front. If you go to the Tilton website and you go down and look at ordinances, it says wetlands ordinance. It is singled out from the zoning. So they can easily find it online. But,
Now, would we hand them the copy of that information as part of the whole packet that they would get at town hall?
no, we would send them this. If you look at the intent to cut, it references that they will have looked at various things such as the RSA's that cover forestry, but it doesn't cite the wetlands ordinance.
No.
It doesn't cite
No.
the, I don't believe it cites the notification of forestry.
why wouldn't
But
we
it
want
lets
to give
them
them all
know.
as much information as we can to lessen the impact later?
Well, we can, I mean, give them...
Because it
a
isn't gonna
whole packet, but I
pertain-
don't think it's our responsibility to spoon feed them. They're contractors who are doing this.
Isn't what this is about, kinda? Is spoon feeding them?
Well, if you give them,
Hey, this is
if you give them all the
checked out.
information you can think of, if you forgot something, you're back where you were. If you just refer them to the zoning Article 14, then he's going to have to look at that whole thing and sort through it, because
And they do need.
And that's all inclusive?
Just-
And it does send you back to Article 14 here.
And that's
so-
all inclusive? That covers everything that we've
Yeah.
the only
discussed?
thing we
Okay.
have.
But
Okay.
you have to remember, not every intent to cut is going to deal with wetlands.
Oh, no.
There's one out there on,
Not at all.
But they should check it.
And again, this is to protect us,
All right.
okay?
Well, this is to protect the
You need us to approve
wetlands.
this.
Well, yes, that's us, that's the town of Tilton.
Okay.
Is this going to be issued from the selectmen?
it's going to
at
be
the top
handed
or
out
from-
when the intent to cuts are given out.
It's going to be issued
Now,
from the land
the only
coordinator.
problem is
Okay.
they
so
can
it'll be
get an
the-
intent to cut online. Remember, it's not a town document.
Right.
So,
So we should also put something on our website that notifies people, and then I think
There should be a link, we could have Kim
right.
put a link.
And then when someone brings in an intent to cut, at that time, they should be handed this document and
there you
told
go.
if there are wetlands involved, there are further permits that may need to be obtained from the town. Then I think we've done our due diligence.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to accept this draft as corrected, as we've suggested, to be handed out with the intent to cut.
Second.
Any discussion? Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Tell Derry what an excellent job he did on
Yeah,
that.
thanks.
Excellent job.
It was done
I'd
quick.
like to have permission to say a few more words.
Oh, man, I tell you. You had to bring her up, didn't you?
Well, this just brings to the forefront the fact that we have an extraordinary person now in our land use office. And it's my recommendation that we look at compensating him differently. And I'm willing to put something in writing if you guys would like to do that.
It was part of his hiring. I believe that after a certain length of time, we were going
We'll be
to
talking,
be checking
right.
out his
And that would be a
rate of pay.
personnel.
Okay, well, is that something that I should, if I want to make a comment on that, that I could send a letter to the Board of Selectmen?
It wouldn't,
You can.
It would be helpful as far as, the chair, how you interact, and the chair of the planning board, that would be very helpful to us.
Especially if there's a consensus of the planning board members
But we
that agree with
really can't talk about it in public because it's a personnel thing.
That's all I want to know.
But yes, that would be helpful.
All right, and there's not just the chair, there are other members of the planning board who are so inclined. All right, thank you very much for your time and your efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent job. Just keep it up, time for next election.
My God. Nice lips that can reach my butt from over there.
What?
Nothing. Nothing. Nothing.
Oh, all right, okay.
Joyce, moving right along.
The same.
You know,
Better or best, somebody knows who the person is beside you.
Just in case you don't know, this is Al.
Just in case.
Oh,
howdy, Al.
nice picture of Mom in the paper today.
Yeah.
Really?
Really
Which
nice.
paper?
Winnisquam.
Have to check it out.
My father on the paper.
Outstanding.
I'm glad she
There
picked that
was
picture.
one other thing. I don't know if anybody knows, Walmart was supposed to take out those burning bushes, the invasive species, as part of their addition, and I think they're doing the landscaping now, and they're leaving them in. That was a condition.
They're doing landscaping right now?
I think they've started it, so,
We need to check into that.
Al does.
yeah,
I
you
was
know,
aware that they were taking, that was part of the planning board's decision. They have to remove. I know we talked about them once it became obvious that those were invasive plants, that they keep them trimmed. The only thing we asked them to do was to remove or trim the bushes that were in the line of vision for people leaving. I don't remember our requesting that, but I will have to already check.
yeah, I think it was because that whole string right along the front was all burning bushes, and they weren't supposed to be installing any
Anymore burning bushes.
and as well as, I remember there
Well,
was some
state
things
doesn't
with the
allow.
Conservation
That's the plan.
Commission, we commented.
There's a whole list of them downstairs on the wall.
Yeah.
that
They're not
and
even
they
supposed to be
they said they were
sold in
going,
the
Town parking lot had some
Those
there.
burning bushes are everywhere.
they were supposed to be taking them out when they were doing their landscaping, I don't remember. Yeah.
I will have Dara check on
And
that.
they were so popular at one time.
Let me know.
Would you like some, Pat? They're going to be taking them out.
I took mine out. Okay, Joyce.
Okay, we received our copy of the fully executed Gaslight Village Cooperative Infrastructure Improvements through the CDBG grant. The board had already signed the consultant contract for this last week, and we were just waiting for the subrecipient agreement that their board of directors was going to sign, and I'm just looking to see if they signed it. Yes, they did. Tim has already reviewed this. We just wanted their board to sign it before our board did. And the changes that we had suggested, it was just some renumbering of some sections. Let me just quickly look to make sure that those were done. Yes. So everything is in order for the board to sign. Pat, this goes in your FYI folder. Did you do your FYI folder already?
Well, I looked in it.
Okay. I don't know if that was something you wanted to, oh, and this goes in as well. Just a couple of follow-up things from the last meeting. I got these pictures, but, John, is that snow or ice?
That's water spraying out.
That's water spewing out?
That was last fall, yeah.
Wow.
That's a picture of the drain you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you want to see it?
Water.
I'll send that to
Nice.
DOT and our legislators. And then there was a note on Joanna talking about the ARC, the ESRI, the ARC, I thought it was ARC Views, she says ARC Map software. The program that DRA was talking about is called their Mosaic program. So it's been a while since we've spoken with them to see how many towns have begun sending their data and using their system. So I will contact Steve Hamilton and ask
What's happening?
what's happening and if they can show us a demonstration.
So there's actually waves of water running down the road, and that was quite heavy rainstorm.
Okay.
Have we noticed the property owner on Silver Lake Road about those trees?
No, and I sent Joe a reminder email. I need to find out who it is. You were
Pardon me?
Who it is I'm noticing about the trees.
Mr. Sanborn.
Mr. Sanborn.
And there are actually, as I was walking along that sidewalk this morning, any number of trees on that same piece of property, and they all lean over and they're all dying because they're in the water. I mean, it's certainly nothing he's doing badly, but if he's the owner of the property, the potential is there for those things to lower on a car driving by or people walking back and forth, and he should be at least made aware.
Did Dennis get back to us for the extra cost for trucking if we collected a vast majority of electronic devices this next week?
I don't know.
He was going to
Did
have that
come last
information
week?
last week.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Dennis was going to get information from us as to what it might cost us to haul
have the
away
Truck.
the computers and TVs, et cetera,
He didn't get back to me on that.
if we ended up with an unusual surplus, and he couldn't store them until fall.
Haven't heard from him. So I could call him now. Checked into it.
Well,
He pays
next week-
by the
Next
pound.
week is cleanup week.
He pays by the pound for the items, but it's the cost of the disposal. And it's just a trucking cost.
Right, but the question, well, the problem with him collecting them during the amnesty week was that he was concerned that he would get a large number of them,
He couldn't store them all.
and that he would not have space to store all of them and would have to have them trucked instead of storing what he collects over the summer properly. I understand he stores them in some type of box.
There's an enclosed thing over there, yeah.
So not having the information last week or this week is, how do we make a decision on whether we allow those things to be collected during amnesty week, which is what the week was designed for, even though somebody could walk in there the week after and say, here's my TV, and we take it.
And pay
And
for it.
trust me, I don't have a
Well, you
TV or
pay for
computer
it.
to dispose of.
And pay for it.
You pay for it.
Pay for it.
Right.
Yeah, but we don't take everything
I would
at
go
the
with
town
what we've
garage.
been
We
going
don't
with.
take oil, we don't, I mean, there's a lot of things we don't take there during amnesty week.
Now, it's been changed somehow.
Well, I don't know. In my experience, it's been like this every
The point of having
time.
amnesty week is to get these things, I mean, if you're really truly concerned about the environment, the reason we have amnesty week is to get these things in there and not thrown by the side of the road. So it seems ludicrous that we don't allow them during amnesty week, but we allow them before and after, and we take them free in the fall. So what is spring cleanup if it's not going to be a cleanup?
You either gonna get them in the spring or you're gonna get them in the fall?
No, you can't bring them in the spring.
I said, you either
Unless you-
gonna get them in the spring or you're gonna get them in the fall?
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna get them, one way or the other,
You're getting them.
so.
Makes no difference to me. I don't want to pay twice to do it, but it is what it is.
I don't want
And
to
as far
find
as the stuff being beside the road, anybody who dumps a TV or a computer beside the road is an irresponsible person and deserves whatever they get.
But the police
I don't think,
You can't have police positioned every 50 feet to watch for litterers.
nor would I be in favor of paying that
So
many
it
police
happens.
officers, trust me.
It happens. I've got to talk to Dennis because I'm about to clean up Route 3 next week. And there are tires and all kinds of stuff that have been heaved on both sides.
I see them.
So, I mean, that's why we have Amnesty Week. Please bring your stuff here so it can be properly disposed of and not become one with the woods, because it doesn't.
I think it's a good idea to have it in the spring, to pick up. Right now, as people are purging out their tube sets and the flat screens are getting cheaper, there's more and more out there, and people are going to be seeking out places to throw them. And sooner or later, we got to get them out of this waste stream. And
I agree. I'm all about getting these things recycled, trust me.
when it changed, maybe 10 years ago, when we changed to just once in the fall, we weren't dealing with the outdating of the tube TVs at that time like we are now. And now it's just, I've seen them many places, highways, everywhere.
Oh, they're all over the place. What amazes me, that people would throw something like that away.
Just to let it be somebody else's
Just heave it.
problem. There's places to bring it. And you don't have to throw it beside the road.
You know, in today's world, $10 to, isn't a whole lot. It's a lot to people on fixed incomes and who are not working, but what's a pack of cigarettes?
2 packs, pack and a half.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I thought it was. So, I don't know.
You make that form motion you want to,
I don't think because it doesn't say so in the town report, even if we allow the people who happen to be looking at this, because it's next weekend, not this weekend, but the weekend following.
There's no notice to be able to tell the people that we can, even if we changed it.
But we could make the change now, and if people bring it in, he could accept them, and then we're all set when we draft it.
But are we
for
making the change, though? And what if nobody does, and then we've spent the money on an extra?
But we actually didn't spend any extra money.
Yeah.
We have the container right now.
The container's there.
We
They're
have the
collecting
container.
them. If I brought a TV down there Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
and give him $10, he takes my TV. I could bring 2 or 3, 4 or 5 or 6,
As many as you want.
right?
And if it fills
Just
up
pay the
early,
fee, and he
fills
takes
up
it.
early, we got to pay to get rid of
Right.
it. We got to get it out of there.
you're gonna pay no matter what.
Sooner or later, we're going to get them all.
The amount of money, I asked Dennis, the amount of money he charges to take those things, or AC units, or any of those kind of stuff that we have to pay to dispose of, the amount we charge doesn't cover the amount it
No.
takes to get rid of them.
No.
It helps defray it, but if they dump it in the woods, or they dump it in the water, we all pay anyway, so. We might as well, I would make a motion that we accept TVs and computers in the spring.
We're going against what the department head, and he's not even here to discuss it with us.
I'll
I don't
second your
think Dennis
motion.
cares. Dennis doesn't want to end up paying an extra charge for the towing, or the removal of the container.
He was concerned about it.
I mean, we're not holding him to his feet to the fire, because we made a change in the name of the environment.
We asked him about it a couple of weeks ago, and he clearly stated that he didn't recommend it. Clearly stated he didn't recommend it, and you're going to go against his recommendation. Just to be very clear, and on the record, we're going against his recommendation. And I want that part in the minutes.
And I'll second your motion.
I heard the second, by the way. Okay, the motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Please note that
Yeah, I made the motion, and yeah, I voted against it, but the one is not necessarily inclusive of the other. It's up there on the board.
passes.
Okay, I have some abatements. Before I present those, this is some correspondence from Lauren on 2 veterans credits. This is one,
Oh, yeah,
I
I
don't have
remember
the
this
letter
one.
that he sent to Lauren, but that's her response.
That's a good letter.
I don't get this one here. Why would he no longer qualify for the elderly exempt,
It could be because,
or
I'd have to-
elderly income? Okay.
and also his
Neither, I don't get that at all.
income or
Why
assets.
did
Is it maybe,
income asset limits have not changed?
right,
We know about that.
We need to have the letter that goes with it.
Where's the,
do you have the letter that went with it?
Yeah, I know exactly what that is.
what's changed?
Lauren responded that he was under the assumption that the income limits had changed, and she explained they haven't changed, but he was
Oh, I get it.
Okay,
so he does not qualify, and
okay,
he realized that, and
Oh.
all right. I get it.
Okay, earlier this week, Lauren had emailed you the notice of preliminary assessment values. They'd like to mail out Monday. Before she mails that out, she wanted to know if the board had any questions or want to make any changes.
I must have missed that email.
Little sample letter.
Actually, she sent it, and then I resent it and asked that the board could review this prior to the meeting.
Oh, this is dated for Saturday.
26th is Saturday? But they wouldn't be mailed out until Monday, which is,
But it's not even a business day.
28.
Monday would be the 28th.
Yeah, so shouldn't they be shouldn't it say the 28th? Saturday's, I'm just saying, Saturday's not a business day.
She says, "I plan on sending this out on Monday. I'll have Shelley send you a value list that can be printed out and placed on the counter for review should someone not have internet access for review."
If this is just a draft, ask her to put on Monday's date.
We can do that.
Thank you.
Until the December bill, it's a good letter. I'm still confused by this. What's the year that we were supposed to do a town-wide assessment?
Well,
Which to me, that means that they visit each property, and they don't stand there and look to see if there's curtains in a basement window, to see if they might have finished the basement off.
okay, I'm confused by your question. We do 25% of the town each year, and then in the 5th year, we update the values.
So it's just an update,
It's an update,
just an update.
right,
But
because,
didn't we pay more for the update?
yes,
How much did we
which
pay
is still
for the
less.
update?
I don't have my book in front of me. I
Dark
want to
figure.
say it's, normally we pay 38, I want to say 63,000.
I was going to say about
Because
60.
we paid a
63.
little over $100,000 for a townwide valuation.
Yeah, it'd be more than that. It would be more than 100,000.
Maybe it was 120.
Yeah, so we spread out the data verification over 4
So when do we have
years.
to do a townwide knock at
We
the
are,
door?
this is, they do go in. They go into 25% of the properties each year.
That's not townwide. That's not, the last time we did it, they knocked on, theoretically.
Yeah, they did it all in
they
1 year.
knocked on every
Right,
door.
right.
That was,
Theoretically.
Is that more expensive to have it done in
It's
one
more
year?
expensive to have it done that way. But either way, you're still supposedly knocking on the door and going inside each property once every 4 years, whether you do it all in 1 year or you split it up over 4 years.
Theoretically.
Once every 4 years, they're supposed to come to your house.
Okay.
And most of the
Doesn't mean they come
communities
to
in the
everybody's
state are
house in
doing
1
that.
year. Just that-
yes, I did.
I think I missed that one there, Catherine. I think.
Glad I wasn't alone.
Yes.
Okay.
I just find it uncomfortable when they make, because assumptions have to be made to do it this way. You have to make assumptions.
Yes.
And she was very honest enough to admit that they do make assumptions. So if somebody isn't really judicious in watching this meeting and getting these reports and reading them, because just, and it's my fault the way my mail goes, that I don't get a lot of these notices that come by way of the tax office, which is why my tax bill is hand-delivered to me. People would miss this and miss the opportunity to question those new values based on assumptions.
This is the last of our 2013 abatement requests, and her recommendation is on the first page of each folder. I double-checked, and we're now complete. So I'll pass these to you. This is...
Send them this way.
I'm missing the file for this one. There's that. And this one you all know about. That's the folder for it. This is Fortunate 7. Oh, here's the Laconia one.
Court date scheduled for that.
July
Which is-
1st. This is the Laconia one.
That's the one that we just passed.
Yeah, it was just the paper.
John, the paper, the one you're
That
reading
goes in
now.
this.
For this one?
So other than the date, that's
Another one?
today's date. Yes, I did get that notice, and I want to say it's June 17th is the hearing on the motion in limine. That's, remember, she filed another motion to limit the witness testimony, and the bench trial date is July 1st and 2nd. I have it over there.
That's not bad. That I was concerned about that.
Well, it's supposed to be in April, but no, it's July
Yeah,
1st and 2nd.
There's a possibility it could be later in the fall.
Supposed to be in April, it's in July.
So if the board concurs with her recommendations, then I'll have her make out the disposition of abatement forms. I believe there are 4 she's recommending a value change, and 2 she's denying. And then I'll have those ready for the board next week to sign. All right, so we're okay with that. We just confirmed that Rip Patton is going to be meeting with the Conservation Commission and members of the Trails Association on May 15th at 1 o'clock. Is that correct, John?
That sounds right.
Yep. So if you want to put that down. And what he's asking, if they can meet on the site first and then come back to the town hall to put the ideas on paper.
May 15th at 1?
At 1. I was able to confirm that with Chuck and Rip. Trying to do the easy things first. On the, you have job descriptions, I noticed later on in the agenda, so you want to do that at the end?
Any time.
Okay. I made copies. Catherine sent me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Her revised job descriptions for the health officer. I don't know if you want to go through and just let them know what changed.
I don't remember. I just used the states, what the state describes it as. I left it over there. There was a couple corrections just for, oh, here it is. I don't know how to do that fancy stuff that tracks or changes.
Oh, I don't either. Once you start tracking changes, they never go away.
Oh, this is the one I must have. I don't have a copy of the old one, so I can't tell you what I changed. I added language from the state's definition. I know that some of it was
Here's
in
the
the
one.
top, the last sentence in the job summary, that's straight from the state. I added in that one, local environmental and public health, that's straight from the state's definitions. I took some out that seemed to be repeating on the back page. I didn't make many changes to the primary duties.
Oh, wait a minute. What's this part right here?
That's what I was calling you. You wondered why I was concerned?
The ability to redirect and de-escalate emotional or volatile situations.
Leave that to me for a moment.
I was surprised
Under
by myself.
minimum qualifications required, should we put something in there, certified heating specialist?
Certified what?
Heating specialist.
No, it's not required. I was trying to put something there that Health Officers Association sponsors 2 seminars, if you will, twice a year.
I know what that
And whoever is health officer really should be required to go to them. They're very educational. I mean, I try to go to a lot of the things that they put on above and beyond that, but I absolutely arrange my schedule so I don't miss those. But I couldn't come up with the language. It wasn't written for me. But I did under the back, on the page 3, They take out, it just seemed to me to be repetitive, and it had to do with notification. I know I'm jumping all over the place because I'm remembering. I added the Board of Selectmen somewhere because it seemed pertinent. Oh, prepare annual inspection schedule to be reviewed by the
Need
Board
help?
of Selectmen. I don't have an annual inspection schedule. I do what I get called to do. There's no, I can't ESP what's gonna break or happen.
Do you do
Where do you-
restaurants?
Where is
Where
that
do you see
located?
that? Where is that?
That's on page 3.
Do you do the restaurants? Like an
Only
annual?
if he calls me up and asks me, and I have done that. He's asked me to come up and check on a couple of things. A new restaurant was opening in town, so he asked me to go over and talk to them about the types of sinks required and whatnot, but that's just handing them a document
Oh,
and
so
saying,
we don't-
here, you need to follow this.
So we don't
That you
have,
took out. You took it out?
No.
Oh, I don't see it.
Well, no, but we don't inspect restaurants. But the health officer is appointed by the New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services Commissioner. So essentially, the Department of Environmental Services calls me up and says, will you check on a septic system? I go check. If Department of Agriculture says, somebody's got manure running into a brook, please go check.
so we
I
don't
check.
have, like they check
But we
scales
don't-
out, that you have to go
No.
to,
No.
once a year, go to every supermarket or once a year?
No, I go to...
That's probably what that meant, if there was one.
There is a health department that does that kind of stuff once a year, at least once a year.
Yes, he's required to do it, but he'll call me up if something comes up that I can go look at. I can be his eyes. They're short-staffed, and we do help. There's a lot of I find a lot of cooperation between the state departments and myself. It's amazing. It's like, and I'm the eyes in the municipality, what they need, but it's hard. It's not something that you can really put down in this description. It's referred to a little bit in the front.
Did you do the description of disagreeable factors, or is that part of the, is that part?
What did I do?
Did you, is that your,
No, I didn't do anything with that. I didn't do that.
because it says as well as exposure to minor injuries, cuts, grazes, sites,
That
and all
comes
that.
from the state.
I'm surprised they don't put, but not limited to,
It's not limited, trust me.
because
I pick up dead animals and bury them in the backwoods on my property. What else did I change?
I'm okay with this.
Notify applicant of violated compliance or non-compliance with written reasons for non-compliance. I use a state form, or a form that's provided to me by the Health Officers Association, and I don't, when I go to do inspections for other agencies, I don't do this because I'm just reporting back to them what I've seen, and now it falls upon them to do whatever they need to do. Now, it's like,
It's a reciprocal,
right, so this doesn't happen every single time. When I do an inspection directly from a complaint that I receive, this is done.
I would definitely have to recommend, and I'll say this with a straight face, you need to learn about your heating. I'm just saying. Don't even laugh, you need to learn about your heating.
Make a motion, we accept the health officer job description.
Second?
You can sign this one.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
yes.
Opposed? Abstain?
I'll abstain.
Now, were you able to make any progress on the 2 police department ones? I can't remember. I do have them in Word format, and did I send that to you, Catherine? Did
I think so, yeah.
Send that
But
out
I
to
haven't-
everybody?
Between everything else that's gone on, I have to admit, I really haven't had time to look at them.
Okay.
I didn't want to be bereft of doing that with Officer. I thought that would be particularly remiss of me, but I didn't, I'm sorry.
Oh, yes, I did. I said, here is the...
Yep, you did send them.
Yeah, feel free to edit these as you see fit.
Feel free,
Feel free.
feel free.
All right, so we'll put this on
But
for
I'll
next
look at
week.
it over the weekend under my selectman's duty.
So next week.
Feel free.
Feel free.
All right, can I interrupt you for
You
1
can.
second? We will open the public hearing for the Tilton Board of Selectmen for the cable franchise agreement. And here's my script. Purpose of today's hearing is to receive the public's input on the proposal for renewal of the cable television franchise with the cable operator in our community, MetroCast. The Board of Selectmen is the franchising authority under New Hampshire law. Our municipality joined with 11 others in the Lakes Region to form the Lakes Region Cable Television Consortium in order to negotiate with MetroCast as a group. This increased the bargaining power of any individual municipality and resulted in a stronger agreement for our residents. We engaged in a process to determine whether MetroCast has complied with the provisions of the current cable television franchise agreement. We have also ascertained the future cable-related needs and interests of the community to inform our negotiations of a renewal franchise with MetroCast. The proposed cable TV franchise renewal agreement that is the subject of this hearing is the product of that work. The public has been invited to attend this hearing through the public notice, which was posted 2 weeks ago before the hearing. The proposed renewal agreement has been available during the time for public review. Any resident or representative of a local organization who wishes to speak will have that opportunity tonight. Please note that some topics are not included in the proposed cable TV franchise renewal agreement, such as cable rates and channel selection, as the town has no jurisdiction over those items. Likewise, the cable TV franchise does not deal with telephone services or internet services provided by MetroCast, as those are also outside the jurisdiction of the town. All right, I guess Joe will say a few words, because there's nobody here to hear this, about the cable franchise renewal process in this proposal.
Have you got any questions, public?
I have
Okay, good, moving right along.
Moving right
Well,
along, would anyone like to come forward and provide input regarding
the
the
town administrator just said she had some questions. I would answer them to the best of my ability.
I just want to make sure, if you look on page 9, section 2.5, they still have language in there about a 3% franchise fee,
Can I see that?
even though it says that we don't have to have one. Oh, I'm sorry.
Nor do we. Unless we vote to impose one,
Okay,
then they will not collect one.
okay.
I thought this was a,
We can get up
other
to,
communities.
we can get up to.
5%.
What page is that on?
Page 9.
See that, right?
Section 2.5, page 9,
I just, for the...
down the bottom, this last sentence, furthermore.
Oh, yeah, those have got to go this way.
So we know we have the option. I'm just wondering, is there a particular reason why they still have that in there? Because we know the board's going to vote not to have a franchise fee, so...
That's an error. Pure and simple.
Well, it needs to
That
be,
has nothing to do with us because we have no franchise fee. We've yet never voted
Then why
to
is it
collect
in there?
one. That's an error. That's an oversight.
Okay, just want to make sure. And then the other thing...
well, then, before this is signed,
Yeah.
it has to be crossed out.
Yep.
Yep.
That language has to be removed.
Okay, and then the other thing, I want to make sure that our $10,000 is in here.
I did see that.
I saw it somewhere.
Yep.
These are coming around, but the document for us to sign to,
No, we haven't
Next
done
week.
them, because you have to, if you're going to agree to do them. If you accept a recommendation, if you have any other questions.
no, I don't remember doing it this way before.
She didn't send any disposition of abatement form, she just sent the letter and those documents, right? Yes.
Usually she sends it out.
What system, what segment is it? Charges.
And we need, on page 43, we need a 5-line signature section.
$46. Now, my understanding was that Exhibit C on page 46 was going to have the police department and town hall included as part of that $10,000. Unless Tim's got something else going, a separate deal.
There's nothing here.
I know there isn't.
All right, so we're not signing anything tonight.
No.
No, you wouldn't have to anyway. Okay, so you think it's supposed to be on Exhibit C?
Yeah, I think it's the Exhibit C.
Yeah, because it does say INET drops. It's not there.
And the present service area, there is a map. We do have a map for that. And the only other question I have is, so we decided against Riverfront Park for a cable drop? Thought I had that in there. Because your video cameras are through cable, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, no, we
Yeah.
want, doesn't that allow us that, what's that, I don't know, fiber something stuff? Is that
Yep.
fiber stuff?
The internet? No, this is just the regular cable access.
Okay, what's the cable thing?
The clothesline stuff, you know? Oh,
The
that's
cable
back in the day.
service. I mean, I know you don't have
What does
cables-
it get you,
Get
TV?
you- Well, it gets you TV, get you internet, and could get you phone.
Well, it could get you any of those, but in this, it's just TV.
Yeah, but I don't see Riverfront Park on here.
We don't need
What page?
TV, I don't think, at
But you,
Riverfront Park.
but your
Oh,
video
park,
cameras.
It gives us
Doesn't look up as
the
much, I
line
guess.
so we can connect it up to the internet.
That's a separate thing.
Yes, you
There
want it.
should be a
Want
letter.
it.
There should be a
Have to
sidebar letter.
Give me this stuff.
There's a sidebar letter that should be attached to this about the internet.
We want it at Riverfront Park.
Yes. You want it, Riverfront.
If it improves our security, we definitely want it.
There should be a sidebar letter concerning internet, how much megabytes per second we get and whatever. There's a sidebar letter. That's not the sidebar letter at all. There's a letter that goes to say that they're going to give us a basic level of internet for no charge.
Why is the
And
water district in here?
They're a public utility, they're a public entity. Just like the library gets it and the school gets it, the fire district gets it.
Privately owned, isn't it?
Pardon me?
Isn't it privately owned?
Yeah,
No, it's a
No, it's owned by the,
By the units.
I don't own it.
I do.
I don't.
she does, and the town of Tilton's one of the biggest payers.
wow, I would have guessed the prep school.
All right, so
I say one of, not necessarily the biggest one. The high school probably is a big user of water up there, I would imagine.
Those kids live there.
so where is the sidebar letter?
Yeah, where is the sidebar letter concerning the internet? And I know that Tim has done all the legwork on the
Seen it.
INET,
Yeah.
but it's not included in this particular document. On page 4, IV, of the, right at the very beginning, with the table of contents, the very last thing, Exhibit I, is the annual system report for the town of Alton. Except, if you go back onto page 57, it's a system report of Tilton, but it's wrong in the table of contents.
So can we suffice to say that it's incomplete and we'll get a complete document next week so that we can sign it? Make a motion and sign it next week?
So
Are there any more questions from the public? If not, we will close this public hearing on cable franchise agreement. Okay, Joyce, you can continue with your, moving right along.
Well, that was very productive.
Thank you for pointing out those errors.
Isn't the public hearing for the cruiser right now, too?
No, 6:30.
This is 6 o'clock.
It's 6 o'clock downstairs.
6 PM, public hearing, cable franchise agreement and police cruiser bids.
Okay, well, there you go.
That's what it says on
I
the
only have
agenda.
one thing for the board, anyway.
It's supposed to be 6:30.
What says here?
Downstairs.
Either way,
You can open it, and then we can just let it hang there.
the public is like clamoring to
All right,
ask
we'll open the
questions.
public hearing for the purchasing of a cruiser, which is over $500 and required by
Utilizing the funds of the,
utilizing half the funds of the detail and half in the budget as proposed at town meeting and approved at town meeting. Is there any public that would like to speak on that? If not, we'll put it aside and keep the, well, I did, and we keep it open because there is some confusion as to what was 6 or 6:30. I'd like to at least keep it open till 6:30.
You'll probably come streaming in at 6:30 anyways.
You never know.
I know.
Well,
You think I'm kidding,
they'll
but
be watching it, so they want to make sure that,
I don't want to shut anybody out of the conversation. You know I don't.
All right, let's continue.
if you want to pass those down to Catherine and to...
I had a question on these
Are they all the
bills when
same?
an appropriate time comes up.
You all have, yeah, I just...
I've got this is Packer Brook.
And it's my understanding that Tim, a disc came with this letter, and Tim had loaded it on your Thrives. And I spoke with Dennis yesterday, I brought this to his attention, he said he was not aware of any flooding.
He and I have looked at it twice now. I took pictures both times.
It's on a
And I
Thrive?
took pictures right after we'd had a rain, and we still had snow on the ground. And
They're saying that these pictures were just
But-
taken...
regardless of whether there's flooding or not, we don't own that brook. And those brooks are under the jurisdiction of the Department of Environmental Services. If we wanted to dredge the brook, we'd have to get their permission to do so. We've never dredged the brook. It's my opinion, our responsibility is solely the box culverts
The culverts.
that are part of our road that we regularly check and maintain. We even looked at New Hampshire DOT's culvert that goes under Route 3, and that wasn't blocked. And despite the high level of water in the river, the water was flowing out.
Right.
Overgrowth on the town's property?
Well, if I
What
have,
is the town property that's overgrown?
16 Prospect.
Who would have told this guy that the problem of flooding on Packer Brook was resolved?
I don't know who told me
I
that.
can't imagine anybody would say something like that. That's an act of God.
There is growth all along that riverbank, all the way up, including on his property. I call the stuff bamboo.
Where is
isn't
it on
what
our
it is.
Thrives?
In the
but-
movies?
It's bamboo type.
Oh, that invasive
No.
bamboo stuff?
I don't know if it's bamboo or not.
I know what you mean.
Is it?
It
You
looks
know what
like
I'm talking
bamboo.
about?
Yep, I know.
Downstairs on that, chart.
It is on that chart.
Yeah, I forget what I
But
just...
it's on all properties, it's not just the town.
Right, yeah, they're putting like overgrowth on the town's property, but that growth is all along there, it's not just our property.
But that growth is above the normal, it's up on the bank and above the normal flow of the brook. That growth wouldn't cause the brook to flood.
And it's saying this is the 4th time this has happened this spring alone.
Do you know where he put it on our drives?
It would be on the M drive, and it's under movies.
I got the movies, but I'm not getting it.
Where do you have movies?
I don't understand what the
No, that wouldn't be on the...
collapsed
though.
barn has to do with the flooding of Packer Brook.
Images and videos.
Yeah, it's already down.
It was down when we took possession of the property.
In the clearly impending collapse, it has collapsed.
It was collapsed when
down.
we got the property, and it had been collapsed for some time.
Shouldn't they be going to DES about this?
Well,
Yeah. The only thing that we have to do with that brook is to make sure that the town-maintained culverts are free and clear of
I'd
debris.
really like to see it, and I can't see it. It's not on our, that I can see on our...
I don't see anything that they've reported to DES. Is there anything in here that says that?
Yeah, but we told them to contact DES.
Culverts were clean. Mr. Phillips appreciates that this work was done. Yay. The photos demonstrate this has not resolved the problem. But that's the only authority we have, as far as I know, is to clean the debris out of there. None of the barn is in the brook. What do you do?
They should be claiming to DES what the problem is and have one of their inspectors come out.
I suspect they've probably contacted DES, and DES says, if trees and vegetation fall in the brook, that's a natural act. They're saying it needs to be dredged. Well, one of the problems is those property owners that abut it have got to stop throwing their lawn clippings and other vegetation debris that they clear off their property in the brook.
Is that being done?
Yes, it is.
Now, you can't dump your trash in the brook.
Well, shouldn't we, or are they be filing something with DES saying that there's disposal of grass clippings and leaves and brush into
You'd have to
the-
specifically see somebody doing it. I see it after it's already in the brook. I don't know who puts it there.
I think DES should be notified by somebody that this is what's going on and let them determine
Oh, yeah.
a right course.
I got lots of pictures of trash. Anybody find the pictures yet?
No?
I looked on what's called Drive.
I have no Drive.
Let me bring my laptop over.
I do not have it.
I broke my Drive.
Settings.
We can text them to find out where it is.
Storage. Oh, this is cool. I have no idea where it is.
Okay.
If you click on a photo, I'll tell you what it is.
Say what?
I think some of those might be the pictures you took.
This doesn't show anything.
Can you click on it, click on 136?
136.
Gotta go all the way down to see if he...
There we go. This is it. All right, now there's the barn
This
next
says
door.
a photo of his backyard. Do you see our property?
This has got to be the collapsed barn. That's not the collapsed barn at Prospect Street. Because that's flat.
Okay, go to 138.
In any event, which-
That's the collapsed
Yeah,
barn.
that's the back of the property.
Yeah.
so in any event, it's not really, it's tough to say, but it's not really our problem. We're not the cause of that.
It's not our jurisdiction.
The collapsed barn is not the cause of the river backing up,
Right, and it's not our jurisdiction.
I don't think.
Okay, now he's saying 139, 141, and 142 is the tree that
There's the
seems to be
tree.
a significant cause of the current problem.
The river
And
runs
where is
this way.
139? Where is the tree? Whose land is
Looks like
that
it's
on?
on 16 Prospect. It looks like, from where it's showing here. But on the very, very back of the property, and basically in or on the very bank of the river. 140,
And then 142, the brook used to run
okay,
entirely
this is his.
between...
And there's the trees over, right there. See the tree?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, well, last
You know,
year,
we're sitting here
141.
looking at this, and you're down there looking at that, and we're up here trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
It's not working.
Well,
It's not I know, but it's not working. We don't have the pictures, let's do it, let's move forward.
you take it.
I don't want to take it.
Okay,
Let's just move
I
forward.
don't know how to get to it on the Thrives.
well, the fact is,
We were told it was on the Thrives, it's not on the Thrives, so let's just move on from there, and we don't have pictures, let's just rule it out.
The
Can't go at all at one, and then pass a laptop around.
river is over its banks. According to the pictures, yes.
but was that one day? I mean,
I don't know. I have no clue about anything. No, that's my
since,
my pile of stuff.
I can't
to
believe that we...
recycle.
But we-
Old minutes and what have you.
Some of these pictures were taken a few years back when it was flooded? Wasn't there reference to that in a note, that some of these pictures were taken back when it was flooded, back in 2009 or 7? or-
Yes, that's in, I don't have a CD of that, but I have that old correspondence.
Right.
We've only owned this property since this year, or since last year.
Right.
Last fall.
So
We
where do,
have gotten letters from this property owner, or notices for a while, that the town is responsible to prevent flooding on his property from the brook. We're
Now,
not,
why would we be any more responsible than the state for all the people along the edge of the rivers, where it comes over the bank and floods?
we're not, the town of Tilton isn't doing anything that causes that brook to flood.
Can't we just send a letter to DES asking them to come up, say a resident's complaining that the brook has become obstructed for some unknown cause,
I haven't
and to make a
seen an
determination?
under pictures than
Well, we're-
Packer Brook?
If he
Well,
thinks there's an
actually, we
obstruction,
can't-
he should send the letter.
Yeah, we can't
But unless
make
we
a
all go up and
report for
look
them.
there,
We
and see an
can't-
obstruction.
We can't make a hearsay report saying he said it's obstructed, but we can instruct him that what he must do, and I think you can get that letter from our website or from DES, file a complaint,
We must have
And have them
the forms
investigate it.
on that website.
and at that point, DES will send somebody up, they'll take a look, and they'll say,
This letter here says that they were in touch with the state,
that's not,
and the state said we could apply to dredge the brook.
is this on the disc?
The town can
This was
apply
on-
to dredge
this
the
was-
brook.
This
Yeah,
is
but
not
they-
on the disc,
see,
this was what
if they
was,
call up
this was
and
back,
ask for information, that's one thing, but they need to file a formal report
My pictures are...
that there's obstruction in the brook that's flooding their property.
What does it take for us to apply to have them dredge the brook?
I don't believe the town of Tilton should start maintaining that brook.
Well, how many brooks you want to maintain? in town?
Exactly.
DES needs, and you'd have to get permits and everything.
We don't need to go to the expense of maintaining that particular brook. We haven't caused the problem.
True enough. I thought that we were going to apply for the state to dredge the brook.
we can notify the state, we can forward his letter off to them with a letter.
I would say that's what we
Forward
should
a
do.
letter off to them with a copy of his letters saying that this
And
particular
photographs.
resident is complaining about flooding on Packer Brook. We've checked out
culverts are clear.
and bridges, they've remained clear. And could they please address his concerns? As they have jurisdiction over the state's wetlands.
And send a copy to Attorney Zimmerman and Mr. Phillips.
You see, here it is. In response, he was notified by the Department of Environmental Service that the town could apply.
Yeah.
To have
that's
the
what-
Wetlands Bureau either dredge the brook or repair or replace any culverts necessary to address this problem. We've already repaired our culverts. They didn't cause the brook to flood either, even before they were repaired.
All right, because you redid High Street and you redid Pine Street.
And there's what, 2 others?
Is there one at Chestnut? There's
One at Academy and there's one at Chestnut.
Right.
But they're flowing fine. Dennis and I looked at them both. Actually, Al and I looked at them too.
And there's nothing wrong with the Pine Street Bridge. I go over there every
Nothing
few
wrong with
weeks.
DOT's culvert.
Under pictures, then,
I got nothing on the
he
picture.
says under pictures, then Packer Brook,
Yeah,
And where's pictures located in?
under gallery.
picture's empty.
For some reason, it didn't work. My gallery only has my pictures.
It looks like the water came up over the edge into the back of the yards.
Next.
Doesn't
Right.
look like it's anywhere near the houses, but that
In,
doesn't mean the basements didn't flood.
When I texted him to find out where the pictures are, he also said that Bestway failed to pick up trash today up on Califf Hill Road from several neighbors. Left a message for Dennis this evening. No, you have to go to Google Drive.
How do you do that?
Go to the triangle, the colored triangle.
Drive?
Yeah.
Then navigate in the folders like where I put financial information.
I have agreements. I don't have anything that suggests those photos.
Go to Google Drive, then navigate in the folders like where I put financial information.
Look, look, look.
There's a folder named Pictures and then Packer Brook. Folder,
How do you go to Google Drive?
it's that little
It
triangle.
says drive.
It says Drive on it.
It's a little triangle. I mean, are you in Google and you go to a triangle?
It's on on our desktop.
Oh,
I don't see it.
It's not even in here.
okay, I can go to Google Drive.
I just looked at updates. I did upload, and it's not in the upload either.
Okay, I have my
Something has
drive
failed. Can we move on?
and share with me.
I agree with
Share
you.
with me.
Oh,
Let's move on. Something's failed.
you found that, right?
Right there, yep.
No, I don't have it on there.
Yep.
It's blank.
Okay, move on.
Okay, well,
But the answer is, pictures
Yeah.
are not. Town of Tilton's done nothing to cause the flooding. I repeat, letter to DES notifying them the problem, copy of letter.
can I have the correspondence that I sent to you?
And thank you, but no, at this time, we're not going to take responsibility for dredging the brook.
I agree.
Okay,
That's what I think.
all right.
Everyone else?
Yep.
I reserve judgment, but I wouldn't be in favor of it right this second without further information.
It's just simply not our brook.
Facts.
That is my understanding.
Technically, does it start in Samerton? Maybe we could blame them.
I think that's, just a couple other quick things. If you wanted to announce that, this just came in on my way upstairs. And this is, I don't know if that was in your thing or not, but I thought Tim did a nice job on that map.
Oh, you have a colored one. It looks much easier on a
Well,
colored.
Yeah, because
Well, then I'm taking this one then.
you can have it.
This
Would
is the
anyone else like a
townwide.
colored one?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have all the maps I can handle.
Okay, this is from PSNH. It's a planned outage on
Description.
Monday. It will affect Northfield customers in the Tilton traffic lights. Tuesday, April 29th, 9 to 11. The Mill Street Building house number from the beginning to 24. Also, the Town of Tilton traffic lights at the intersection of Park and Main Street.
What date?
April 29th, 9 to 11.
That's Tuesday, right?
So we got coverage down there?
It's got Monday, the 28th, from 9 to 11, rain date Tuesday, the 29th, 9 to 11. It should
This is
say that.
PSNH, it's an outage.
Oh. There's a foot race or something, a walk.
On the same day?
No, I don't know when
I hope not.
coming.
We don't want
When
it.
is the Alzheimer's walk?
The
17th,
No, the 31st.
31st.
Yeah, I'm
I knew
gonna
it was
do
close
Are you
to
gonna do that?
Thinking of it.
And I think May 17th is the Tilton portion of the trail cleanup.
If I'm back, I'll go.
That's all I had, Pat.
I hope nobody looks at my spelling.
That's all I had. All right.
I know John had a question.
I did a search
Yeah,
up there for it, and I
I had-
can't
I
see it.
have one. It's 6:30,
Question,
too, actually.
if I can find it. I'm looking at the bills,
No public.
and the Route 132 ball field is 155.92 this month, too. And last month it was like almost the same amount, so, for electricity.
Is that the heater to keep the pump from freezing? There's an electric heater in that building to keep
Well,
the...
I just,
I'm
I
sorry,
mean,
where are you?
I'm looking at the same thing as last month, electric pump for the, or Route 132 ball field electricity. It's 155 this month.
Is that heater?
It's the only electric there. They're not using the pump, are they?
I know, but it's even more than last month, I think. And it wasn't,
Might have
it
been
wasn't
colder.
above,
I don't know. More days? I don't know.
Okay, I have two things before we
Oh,
go,
let's stop- let me
and then
stop
we
and
have
look.
the chief.
I think that's a lot of money, because that's pretty close to what we're paying for some of these buildings. And to,
That's an unheated building with equipment in it that if it freezes, it's going to cost a
Non-insulated.
lot more. Wasn't well thought out, but at this point, what do you do?
well, if
Here's
it's
my
plumbing, there's heat tape, you can enclose it in a small area, different types of heat tapes and that. I mean, everywhere down south, they use heat tapes, Virginia and stuff for
You
their
can't.
inlets.
The tank, the
Drain
positive
it out.
pressure tank is there. There's a collection tank.
You can drain it
Once
out.
they-
I mean, it only gets, how many times do we flood it?
Oh, they flood it quite frequently.
It seems like a lot of money
It
for...
gets snowed, it gets
for-
plowed off, and then they'll add more water to smooth it out. They- But I'll check to look at it. Dennis is opening up the bathroom, so I can unplug the heater. I mean, it got cold last night, but they haven't used it for a while.
But even if it got cold, we're not going to freeze a pipe up.
Oh, yeah, I've repaired two. In fact, I have a third I have to repair.
Not this month,
Oh,
or no, last, I don't know.
yeah, it was last month.
Just
This
saying,
month, it should be almost nothing.
It should be undone.
You have to remember, that bill was for March, last month. That's last
I didn't-
month's electrical bill, not April's. We'll get April's in a couple of weeks.
Right.
No, we shouldn't get anything for April. We haven't needed anything.
I think it's been on.
It's been cold.
It was cold.
I know, but not
Hasn't been
cold enough to
freezing.
freeze up a pipe in a
It
few
doesn't
hours.
drain completely.
My garden hose runs every day.
It's in the garden hose. This is
I-
the waterworks.
Okay,
To tell you, the gauges and things I replaced have been
I'm just expressing my displeasure.
cost, if you hired a plumber, it would cost more than that light bill.
all right. I want two quick things that I want to mention, whether the board acts on it or not. I really don't care, but it's a pet peeve of mine. I think that we should have two memos set out. One is that it's been brought to my attention that not all town employees are timely on their, getting their timesheets in, and I don't think that it's up to our staff to chase them down. So I think that a memo should go out stating that if your timesheet's not in there by Monday, 9 AM, you know, it's, you know,
We pay you the next week?
you know, it really is up to the person that's got the job to realize that their money depends on their timesheet. So, you know, I don't want to be being hard-nosed about it, but it really should be, and I think we should put out a friendly reminder and saying, hey, if it's not out there by 9 AM, you're going to hold everybody up because of it. The other pet peeve I have is that I'm noticing more and more and more, because one does it, everybody seems to be doing it, town employees parking in the side of the building here. That's for residential people, that's for our taxpayers to come and register their vehicles. And I can see dropping off, loading, and picking up, I can see that. I have no problem with that. But driving in because you're going to leave at 3 o'clock and stay there all day, that doesn't fly with me, because we have seniors and we have, you know, people that come in and they have on their lunch hour a quick run, and they've got to park way down by the haircuts for men to walk up because our employees are using the parking spaces out front. So I would really like a memo to go out and saying, do not park in the parking spaces out front unless you're loading or unloading.
That includes attending meetings.
That includes attending meetings. If it's after hours that the town hall is open, I don't have an issue with that. But if this is when, during town, this is during town. So if it's commission boards that are here at a 1 o'clock meeting or an 11 o'clock meeting in the morning, they shouldn't be parking out on the side of the
What
building.
about, like, when Dennis comes by, he comes in to get his stuff, he shouldn't be parking
There's a
there?
municipal parking
And
Yeah.
Same with the chief and Ryan, when you come in, then
Yeah,
go park in the
That's
parking
good.
lot.
Well, it's like Ryan comes in to drop off payroll. He's in here less than 5 minutes. He's only in here 5 minutes if somebody corners him.
Right.
So that would be,
Trying to get out of here as fast as I can.
that would be a dropping off.
That would be a drop-off.
Dropping off, okay.
But if somebody's here to attend a meeting or have a discussion, other than dropping off information or
It includes
packages.
us.
Well, right now, our policy is 10 o'clock. They have to get it to me by 10 o'clock
The payroll.
for admin.
Okay,
What
10
is your
10 o'clock's
deadline
fine.
from Tim? 10 o'clock?
10 is,
10.
Tim,
So I think 10.
And,
10?
10.
So 10. Town, all town employees.
it needs to be processed by 2, 3 at the latest.
What
So
is Tim's deadline for receiving it?
noon. No, 10. 10 for the PD, 10 for highway,
We have to, yeah.
and they're chasing people down. It's, you know, it's not always the same people every week, but it's getting to be a hassle. It takes time out of our staff to be chasing down people to put in their timesheets, and we shouldn't be chasing people so that we can pay them. It's my feeling, anyway. Moving right, so can you set those memos in motion for there? Is it board's consensus on that?
Clock dropped.
It's for me.
Yes, I mean, they're existing policies.
Pay you the following week if you
Oh, yeah,
can't get your
absolutely.
timesheet in.
Okay.
Sometimes mine gets in late, but I'm sorry.
Soup kitchen yard.
Well, then
Sometimes I'm
There you
picking
go.
up garbage.
we'll slap you.
Hey, but when it's my money, I have the timesheet in plenty of time.
Right.
Let's go to soup kitchen.
Okay, Tim emailed you the exact location just now.
Yeah, sure you do.
So we're beyond Packer Brook right now.
Yeah.
Okay, chief, you're up.
The door downstairs must be locked because I don't see anybody here for the public meeting. They just can't get up the stairs.
But that's all right, or at least we're following what's supposed to take place.
No, we'll close it after, when he gets to here.
Okay, just a couple things for my weekly update. A couple officers went through that driving training this week. They said it was awesome.
Yeah?
And that's the first time we've had people go through. So the feedback was good, so it tells me that I want to try to keep getting more people through it.
This is the one that the driver,
Cones and, it's the one LDC officer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the high-speed driving, evasive maneuvers, that kind of thing, or?
Bill went to it. I talked to him. He said, they just talk about accident avoidance, what causes cars to roll. He said it was really good. It wasn't just driving, there was a lot of educational that he didn't even know. And, he's been driving, emergency vehicles for a long time. So feedback was really good. So just when those pop up, we'll keep trying to plug people in there, And we had our third harassment class, workplace harassment tonight. Another one, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Who all you harassing?
Me tomorrow. I'm going.
I was telling Al, I went to, as an EMD, I went to a meeting this morning with mostly fire chiefs, actually. But it was to talk about, there's a new trend out there for people to use natural gas instead of oil. And there's a company out there called NG Advantage that's transporting compressed natural gas in tractor trailers, 30-foot tanks, and they're not placarded or regulated. And so the concern is that if one of those rolls over and we go up to it, we might just think it's a tractor trailer that rolled over and not realize that it's got 4 30-foot long natural gas propane tanks in the back. So they're going to get us together twice a year to talk about stuff like that, hazards that we should be aware of. Just kind of emergency planning committee meetings, and drug take-back is tomorrow, the 26th.
Oh, where?
Captain.
CVS in Franklin in the parking lot.
Captain's
That's the one
meeting.
right across from the Hannafords?
It's across from AutoZone.
Oh, did I say tomorrow? Saturday.
Saturday.
I'm sorry.
Saturday?
Shoot. That's the town-wide yard sale,
Same day.
and I'm selling all my stuff in my garage, so.
But not
Can't
your
go.
drugs. You're taking those to the CVS.
You don't know that,
I
Chuck.
know. Forget I said anything.
God, you can spoil a good one, I'm
I
telling
know,
you.
you're right.
Now.
Moving right along.
2 more pieces of chocolate, I'll be on a real roll.
So just some other things coming up. May 27th is a Tuesday this year. We'll be running by Town Hall for our annual torch run for Special Olympics.
What day again?
That's a Tuesday, May 27th.
May 27th.
Yeah. They moved it back. It used to be on Thursday, but they do a ceremony with the governor where the athletes light the torch at the State House on Thursday, the 29th, and we had trouble getting people there, so they backed up the run in hopes of trying to get more law enforcement to Concord 2 days later for the lighting of the torch at the State House.
So how does this work now? The 27th, they're gonna run it down the sidewalk here?
Well, yeah, it's an awareness run, so there's 18 legs around the state. Our leg
Oh, I
goes
see.
from Meredith PD to Franklin PD through the Lakes region.
I see. So say you're gonna pick it up in Belmont, or?
Mosquito Bridge,
Yeah.
yeah, we get it.
Yeah, and then you guys run it to the Franklin line?
High school, and then from the high school, Franklin runs it to there. But usually, if you can keep up with it, we run right to Franklin. And you guys always come out and cheer us on, which is awesome.
Okay, I'll be cheering you on then.
May 27th. May 31st is the Timmins run, walk race for Alzheimer's. And I think that's about it. Just a steady flow of business this week, but nothing unusual or...
Why so much overtime for
Last week?
shift coverage?
Yeah, we had 2 guys in training, and it was a training that they only offer once a year. So if I missed it, we wouldn't have it again, and so...
Cut down the job.
We've been really good this year, but there's occasionally a class will come up where you just have to jump on it. And if the officers on nights, we may have to move them to days for the training and then get it covered.
Okay.
And what kind of, that was for things like the driving course and those ones?
The driving course, there was a drug one. Not all of them does that happen to, but if it's only once a year and they're on nights, then... So coming up next week, we have a couple of people going a fraud investigation, but I believe it's just detectives, so that won't create any overtime. And then nothing until command staff's going to incident command training May 21 to 22.
Chief, that thing come up to June.
Oh, they did? Do you have the new dates
17th and 18th?
of June? It's bike week.
Is it?
Yeah. What were those dates?
So we're going to have 2 out for Bike Week?
It's
Training?
It's a 2-day class.
2-day class, so it's the worst week to put it.
I know.
All right, well, I'll have to...
Isn't that extraordinarily bad for us? Is the training really worth what might, the downside of that might be?
I'll have to look into it a little.
Yeah, please do, because I would hate to see anything, we have 100,000 people come through
No,
here that
sometimes
week.
some of the training comes out of the academy, and
If you look into it, I
Yeah, I
would
will.
appreciate it. I'd like to be covered
and
that week if we can.
I know there's events around the state, and they can't accommodate all of them. The Seacoast has things going on, but sometimes
That
they
seems
put...
silly that the academy would schedule training for Bike Week.
Yeah.
That does seem short-sighted.
Sometimes it goes by when the instructor's coming in, so I'll have to look into it. We may have to just try to get it another time. But
I saw the canine, was it Guilford that got the canine of the year or whatever? The, in the paper. Canine handler.
yeah.
Is it Guilford? I think it was. Did you read it, Joe, in the paper, that the canine handler?
Yeah, I think it was Guilford.
Yeah.
I know the guys want to start to, remember last year we started to talk about it, they want to fundraise again and try to build up enough money to get it going. The grant's still out there for working dog that covers the dog, so it's basically, all the accessories that would go with it, but, maybe at some point we get on the agenda and come in
How
and
often
talk
do you
about it more.
use a dog? Would you have need for one?
Eh,
Burglar in the woods,
Yeah, it's one of
lost
those,
kid.
you'll have 4 right in a row and then none for a couple
If
months.
I wandered off from my house and couldn't find my way back,
Then,
that
yeah.
kind of thing, right?
Yeah. But, I know
It could happen.
that a lot of businesses keep saying they'd like to help out, and on our Facebook page, people keep posting, and
It was nice for once that we see something positive in the paper for Tilton PD in the last 2 weeks without the garbage that Gail Ober's been putting in. And it was nice to see Sonny in your paper of all of what Tilton PD does for the community, all we see is garbage in there the last 2 weeks from Gail Ober.
yeah,
It's sad.
I know that Sonny really appreciated the ceremony they did down there. This was his third deployment, and, you know, he brought 50 or 60 soldiers over there, most of them in their 20s, for a whole year, and then brought them all home safely.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of work after his third deployment, and, you know, he mentioned to me that he wanted me there, but he didn't tell me why. And when I got there, I just was going to sit in the back, and they said, "Oh, we need you up front." And I said, "Why?" And they said, "Because you're getting an award too." And I said, "For what?" I didn't go to Afghanistan. They said, "For being a supportive employer." So,
Nice.
Sonny said, "Yeah, I didn't want to tell you about it, but it was
Nice.
a nice surprise." And so, you know, got to go up there with all the representatives and the governor, and it was well done. The troops that went over there, they deserve that every time they come back.
Wonderful. All right. We have the public hearing still open, so we'll close it because there's no public. And we have 3, do you still have the cases? The estimates? Do you still have the estimates?
do, yeah.
You have yours, right? Joyce, will you look at your email and find the pictures? We're going to go into non-public after this.
Yeah, that's like the
This one's from... What?
Okay.
That's the state one.
Can you get to H?
Yeah, I went to H, right?
Where's it?
H.
Go to the H drive, and then it's under tablet.
How do you find the H drive?
I don't know.
Punch in H drive.
That's where you'll find, it says 911, building code, directories, finance, forms.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what?
I didn't have it.
Where is it?
Don't look at mine, I don't have
I was adding up numbers, I'm sorry.
it. So this is what we have.
Well, if you're on the server, you should be able to go to the H drive.
Should be in settings, shouldn't it? I think.
Yeah, do you have, this doesn't have Windows, does it? Okay,
Now, back to what I was doing.
applications, no, pictures, gallery. Well, Catherine, how do you get to your file folder?
Which one?
It says the file folder says
Here's the
Catherine
file
Dawson.
folder.
Those are documents, those are,
These are the files.
Those are on the town's computer.
yeah, that's where they
H drive.
are. H drive, yeah.
I just go to the H drive and look for Catherine Dawson and click on Catherine Dawson
Yeah,
On the town computer.
on the town computer.
okay. Because they're there.
I've never found the H drive on this. I don't know how to go there.
Log into the server separately, not just through the Wi-Fi.
How do you get to the H drive on the
On the Thrive?
drive? Yeah, because I found it on the server.
All we're running is we're just running a Wi-Fi connection. And it's independently, we're not actually logging on to the server. And we'd have to log
All
on to
right,
the
so
server.
let me,
So with your go-to.
All right, you got them?
Go to,
On with the show.
Is it?
I said, on with the show.
Getting the estimates. I'm waiting for the chief. Chief, you got the estimates?
Give me a password to get onto it that was...
So we'll close the public hearing.
there I am. And I don't know how to do it from here.
We have 3 estimates. Yep. Which ones,
Yeah, so the cap got 3, one from Berwin,
yeah,
24.10,
yep,
one from Tony,
Yep.
who had a state bid, which was 24,443. And then one from Auto Serve is 24,648. We're all pretty close.
Oops, excuse me.
and Gaponi has the state bid.
State bid, yeah.
Those are figures you got.
Yes, yeah, I was just confirming them.
Yeah.
The spotlight. I can't read that one. I thought I had it now. Front headlamp. Oh, spot lamps, 225 on this State of New Hampshire specifications document. That's what's attached to Irwin's.
We have to add
So,
spotlights, right?
Berwin, yeah, they didn't circle
And-
as quoting it.
21D,
21,
In auto serve, it's included.
right. Yeah, that 24,638 is everything out the door, the final price.
What kind of warranty is that? The premium warranty or the mid
Well,
warranty?
the warranties are priced separately, and so these are just a car, and the warranties, they offer the 5-year, 6-year. One of the things that came out in 14, I was just talking to Ryan about it, was the 60,000, 60-month, 100,000 miles drivetrain warranty. So that was the main reason we got the extended on these cars. They didn't have that, it was $336 for the drivetrain. So I talked to the chief of Sanford, and he said he felt comfortable just going with that. for 10,000 mile warranty on the drivetrain.
What about the electronics?
I think everything else is
Is that
3 year,
everything else
36.
covered?
It's 336, but 36 month. Miles for pump and bumper.
But if we got the warranty, what would be covered under the, and for electronics under the other warranty, like a mid-price warranty? Would the extended warranty be 5-year?
Extended warranty you could get for 5-year. Coverages change with the service maintenance agreements. And Dennis was saying that the middle one is not, doesn't really cover a lot of electronics. So he was recommending a higher coverage. More expensive than
Can you look into that for next week to find out what the coverage is on the different warranties for us?
This is a warranty they quoted.
Do you have an Irwin quote and a
For warranties, we
Raponi
do.
quote? Because by and large, we're talking bottom line here.
Yeah, these are just the car.
And the warranty counts toward that bottom line price.
Right.
Just like the spotlight counts.
The warranties, they sell them separately.
No, I understand that.
So like this would be Irwin's warranty.
How much is Irwin's?
$13.65 premium, $10.50 extra, and base is $8.75. 60 months.
Could be a total there.
Well, those are the totals for the warranties. Doesn't have a total for the car out the door with the warranty, because,
What's the deductible on it?
doesn't say. I imagine that there's, like, for the premium, maybe there's none, and the basic, there's some, but I don't know.
This is all zero.
Doesn't say.
It's not, all there is names of warranties, it doesn't really help.
Yeah,
That's just the price for the warranty as opposed to the details.
If you compare AutoServe's bid to Grapponi's, there's only a $30 difference, because AutoServe quoted the 21D Spotlight, which is not LED, and Grapponi has got add Spotlight at $395. Well, that, again, is the LED one. If you look on their list that's attached to this, the 21D Spot lamp is actually $225. So that would make their price between AutoServe's just $30.
difference. Yeah, we don't usually get the LED.
Where is Grapponi's located?
Manchester.
Now, that means anytime we had a problem, it would have to go to
No, any
Manchester.
Ford dealership will do the maintenance. Grapponi's in Concord, I'm thinking of.
Even so,
It's Concord.
even so. I mean, we have to bring it to Concord,
You
and
get serviced at any Ford dealership,
Right.
regardless of where
We
you
could
buy
buy it
the
at
car.
AutoServe and choose to have it maintenance
Maintenance
at
at-
Irwin's.
Right.
although I
Could buy
don't
it at
know
Irwin's,
why we
Have
would.
it serviced at AutoServe.
Same warranty, same everything.
There are different warranties that you can purchase.
You don't
That's
buy
where-
the
What
warranty.
I'm
warranties are
interested in
different.
is what it's gonna cost us bottom line.
Right.
That's all I'm concerned about. I don't care where we buy it. I
do.
really don't.
I am concerned about where we buy it. I don't
Why?
think we should buy it from somebody that's cost us thousands of dollars.
I think it's short-sighted to pay extra.
$30?
It's not $30, because if we have to take it to Concord, it costs us extra to bring it there.
Why are
Just
we
to
gonna-
pick it up, it's going to be $30.
I'll pick it up for free, I promise.
You're not driving the new Cruiser, sorry.
One thing has nothing to do with the other.
Hey, John with me?
I'm the newest member, I get to.
Okay, John,
I don't
I'll
think
pick
so.
it up.
But one thing is, before we buy it, if we choose one of those, have we resolved why they're charging us $49 to reset the check engine light?
Cap, did you check in the engine light?
Which one?
Well, any of them, why do they charge us, like, what, $49
That was the
to?
inspection.
But there
The
was
inspection's
four
$49,
charges.
but it says about check engine light, because I pointed it out to Tim.
Yeah.
Dennis didn't know. We bought a several $1,000 piece of equipment to check those engine light codes. We have a machine that does it.
And that, I would think they'd comp that, or at least include it in the warranty if you're...
That's still under investigation because because he's checking into that. And also, the inspection is under research because we were told that there was going to be $19.95 for an inspection sticker.
Is that
And it's
right?
49 something.
I know when we go to Dennis and they check a code and it says, if it's warranty, we send it up to AutoServe, they will still run the code because they want to make sure they're addressing what
They
is.
shouldn't be charging us for it under warranty, though, if it's a warranty issue.
But there's some discrepancy whether it's covered under the warranty.
Checking the code is covered under the warranty.
No, I can't see buying a car from somebody who's going to hit us for $49 every time to check a code and inspect it. That's just a personal thing. I think they could say, hey, to check the code, you plug it in, there it is.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that should be resolved.
I think it's a question of the service charge. Certainly, we could bring it up to them. And
So it's-
debated about.
Yeah, 'cause there was a bunch of them.
Yeah, I brought it up a few weeks ago. Those check engine light things, like I say, we bought a piece of equipment. It's supposed to go to Arthur first, the garage, whoever checks it, but Arthur right now. And then, okay, they're sending it up there because he can't deal with it. He knows that because he checked the code.
Right,
And then they charge us $50 to check the code again?
right.
That doesn't
Right.
sound like a good thing for us.
Sounds to me like we're not ready to make a decision, and we've got some research to do on the
The service
maintenance, on
and
service.
the
What kind of service are we
inspection
going to
and-
expect from AutoServe? What kind of service are we going to expect from Grapponi? If they're going to, we can say something what John just said, I don't want to buy a car from AutoServe if they're going to charge us $49 for a check engine. I don't expect us to be buying a car from any of the three that we have estimates on, and then shipping it to Laconia or Concord for service each time that one's out, because it is more time for the vehicle to be down, even travel time, and it's
Somebody's
another
gotta bring
person
it
to
there.
get, and somebody's got to, two people got to bring it there, back again, where, auto service the convenience of having one in town.
Right.
But we have to get those issues squared away first. So you want to get those, and we'll come in next week and make a decision on,
Go talk to
So-
him, say, let's make a
so-
deal.
Okay.
put it on the agenda for next week.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
You all right, buddy?
First day with his new shoes. That it? Did you have something for us, Ryan? You sure? You did have it, but you don't want to bring it up. Got it. All right, is there any more business to come, I know, come before us in a public session?
Did we terminate the public hearing on the cruiser already?
We did. I
I should
did.
listen closer.
I did it already. I'll make a motion to go into non-public as per RSA 91A:3, legal and personnel.
Second?
Roll call vote.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're in. I'm not even sure how to make this motion. I'd make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public session as they pertain to personnel until such time as those matters might be resolved. I don't know, I told you, I don't know how to make
Personnel
it.
permanently.
Get resolved.
They never get resolved?
No, personnel permanently.
Okay, good enough, what she said.
Second?
There you
All
go.
in favor?
I
Aye.
make a motion to adjourn.
That, Captain.
Second.
It's not debatable.
It ain't debatable.